Cause lately I've been working harder than ever. She said, baby, you a boss. Baby, clear your schedule. Dollar, you a boss. Let's do something special. Take me on the PJ. We should go to Mexico. I've been down for you, boy, since when the money was low. Anything for my back, cause she a blessing. If you woke up this morning, it's a blessing. Think I'm better than the next man. I've been down before the come up, I ain't stressing. Baby, I'm too busy counting all these blessings. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Blessings. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Blessings. I just owned it, losses. Could've lost it. Yeah, left them leaking like a faucet. Almost cost me everything that I got, all of my fam. Part of the plan. I was eating fried bologna out of the pan. Y'all don't understand. I was trying to get it. I'm in that studio trying to keep it pushing. Patty pots, boy, I kept them cooking. All I needed was the Mary, but the guy in me was having commentary. Woo! I got angels all around. I can need a baker. Blessings falling in line. Guess I need a taper. And every loss is a lesson. Tell my haters I confess. Treat them like the green bubbles on my iPhone. I probably never read the message. If I ever took a loss, I learned a lesson. I won't ever think I'm better than the next man. I've been down before the come up, I ain't stressing. Baby, I'm too busy counting all these blessings.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Boom Radio in the building, man.
What it do?
How y'all doing, man? We got these three brews up in here. Shabbat Shalom. What's going on?
Shabbat Shalom. Your boy is back. The Hebrew Barry White is back. It's been a while since I've been on here, but I'm back. Pastor Derek Solomon.
What's going on? What's going on, family? We up in here, man, with our brother Rick, man. You know, he done became a part of the show, you know what I'm saying? So we done just adopted him in, you know. He engineering back there, but you know, he family now.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, he done came to the cookout and ate our food. Hey, he family now.
And then I know he real family because he got the go plate.
Hey, that tater salad was mighty nice. I will say that. All right, I had to test it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what's going on, family, man? Big shout out to everybody that's tuning in out there. Let me give a shout out here.
All right.
Carl Selders. What's going on with your brother? Brother Malak, what's going on? Shalom. Sister Pamela Pollock, what's going on with you? Minister Israel Negron, Brother Alton Hood.
Yeah.
Merlene, what's going on? Deacon Eric Riddick, what's going on? Brother Yazebulon, shalom to you.
You just got a house full over there, huh?
Stephanie Morgan, shalom. And Brother Damian L. Israel. Shalom, don't forget to like and share this thing, man. But it's going down today. We're going to do a recap, man, from last night.
Yeah, shot fired.
Hey, man, listen, man, if y'all ain't tuned in to our Brother Reed show last night, man, we're dealing with, is it too much? I'm just going to say it like how he said it. You know,
You want me to say it?
Yeah, you go ahead and say it.
Because I ain't always say it like y'all.
You go ahead and say it.
No. Is there too much damn religion in the church? I'm talking about D-A-M-N. D-A-M-N.
Hey, man.
Not like a damn what a beaver, Bill. But, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, something like that. But the way some of these women dress, so it could be that one. That's what I know. So, hey, let me shout out Spence Smith, man, joining us in on Boom Radio Live. Jay Brown, my son, he joined us today at Boom Fellowship. Say he really enjoyed himself, man. He will be back. Shouts out to my homie Mike Ramsey joining us in on Facebook Live as well.
Yeah, big shout out. What's going on, Pastor Derek Moray? You got something you want to shout out?
I'm just ready for the topic to get started. It's good to be back in the house. I've been out for a minute, but I'm back.
So y'all two brothers was watching last night, but y'all wasn't actually here. So
That's correct.
You know, I ran my mouth enough, so I'm gonna let y'all do it. But the visionary of last night's show on I think 1100 was none other than our brother Rick. He in the engineering right there. Rick, so man, listen. The show was, you know, definitely, is it too much damn religion? You know, that's what was the title of the show last night. Did it come out did the show pan out as you envisioned it, or was it greater, or was it less? Like, what was your thought about the show? Go ahead and give some commentary, man.
Man, shouts out to you and Pastor Brian. The show was so much better than I could have ever envisioned it being. Like I told you and him, I have been interviewing y'all for about a month in my mind. Just trying to, kind of map out, because I don't write down no notes. I kind of freestyle when I'm talking, having conversations with whoever I have in the barbershop. So I have been trying to, like I say, put it together, trying to ask questions, and just trying to figure out a lane that I want to take it into. But my goal is to throw the first question or the first comment out there and see how it go, and kind of take the room and let the room control the conversation. And man, like I say, I couldn't have asked for two better brothers,
right,
to be in there with, to have the conversation with. It totally exceeded my whole expectations for everything last night. And once again, I want to thank you for coming in and having this conversation, starting the conversation, because hopefully it can that conversation is going to kick off more conversations.
Definitely. If you not tuning in, man, y'all, we're opening up the phone lines today for this type of conversation. Last night the show was great. It was awesome. I'm gonna be posting the video. I'll be sharing it as well outside of the some of the other groups. But if you want to call in to talk about this topic, man, you can call in at 404. We down here love 860 AM in Atlanta. You definitely can call in, pick up the phone, and call in at 404-355-8699. See, let me tell you about Rick, man. Like Rick, I need you to be how you was last night.
You were the hype, huh?
Yeah, all this stuff, Rick. See, I'm telling you, man, Rick now you want to come here all, it was awesome, man.
That's his Esau voice.
Yeah, and then he gonna turn around and talk about, I just want to throw something out. No, you ain't thrown nothing. You flew a helicopter and dropped a napalm on the whole doggone thing, talking about the Bible to be remixed by Puffy, by Mace.
Take that.
And then something I noticed, boy, Rick had 16 jobs last night.
Yeah, Rick he was hosting, engineering, questioning, answering the phone. Boy, he was doing it all last night, man. Shouts out to you, man.
Hey, man, like I say, and it's hard. Like I say, once I'm on the other side, on that side, man, it's a different world.
Yes,
it's
sir.
like when that microphone comes on, it's like something, I don't know what it is, man. It just happens.
Fire shot up in your bones.
It just happens. And a lot of the questions that I asked last night were just questions that I have.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
and going through having different conversations with different people, I found out that a lot of other brothers and sisters have some of these same questions. So I just wanted to ask the questions. Maybe you never heard them, maybe you have heard them, but I wanted people that have not heard some of these answers to the questions, just ask, because there's a lot of confused people out here when it pertains to the Bible.
Oh, absolutely.
When it pertains to religion, when it pertains to everything, and there's a lot of lost people, and you finding it more and more and more, because me and my daughter, just my 16-year-old, had a conversation she'll be 16, last night and today. She's about a lot of her friends are atheists.
Yeah, that's growing.
Wow. Yes, sir.
It is growing rapid.
It is.
And it's because a lot of people don't have an understanding, or they have been so displeased by what has become of religion, what has become of church. And so that's why I feel that, like I said last night, the way I grew up and seeing how much of an impact that church, religion had on the community.
Yeah.
And it seems like it has somewhat lost that. And you have people that's out there looking for something, begging for something.
Yeah.
And to me, if we can set aside some of these differences,
Yes.
Right.
we can go get some of these lost people.
Yeah.
That's right.
Some of these people that say they won't, they are. It's just like, to me, it's just like, because I used to work in a group home with at-risk kids. These kids wanted two things. They wanted consistency and they wanted discipline. They wanted knowledge.
All right.
That's all it seems like. A lot of these kids now, they want this knowledge. They want to be able to look up to somebody.
Yeah.
All right.
We still want these elders. We still want these people that's gonna tell us something. But they don't want nobody to tell us no mess.
Right.
All right.
We want something that we can hold our heads up and look up to and be like, okay. If it ain't but a word, but we want a good word. We want a word that something that make you feel good. That seems like it's authentic, and that was the word last night that I probably took away more than anything. The authenticity that was in the room last night. I don't know if that was a word, but the two brothers that was in the room last night.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
All right.
It's gonna be a word today.
All right.
Authenticity, whatever you said.
We gonna roll with it.
Go ahead, Moray. What you got?
I want to touch on what he was saying. It has become because of we've lost touch with our elders.
Uh-oh.
When I was growing up, my grandmother took me to church, but I may have not learned what I should have learned as a child, but it stuck with me as I grew older.
All right.
Yeah.
And that was one of those things that they did. You know, people want to bash the church and all of that. We ain't going to even get into that. But the thing is, we had elders within the church that would pass down information and teach us things as we grew up.
All right.
Right.
But now the elders are gone, and the ones that were here, you know, the information they did pass on to some people has been lost.
Right.
And so now there is no big mamas. Big mamas are 40 now, 45.
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So they in the club with their children.
Right. Hey, look, we got a caller. Casey, I know you want to chime in.
We can take that caller
we got a caller that's coming in. Caller, go ahead, man. What you got?
Okay, this is Pastor Jonathan from Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Pastor?
Bless you.
I'm doing good. I'm in Springfield, Massachusetts. New England is where ministries go to die.
Well, that's where Super Bowls are won. I'll say that.
Rebuke you, Satan. The Lord rebuke you.
There you go. They're so busy watching football that they don't have no time for God.
All right.
But,
Come on, brother.
The reality is, you know, everything you're saying, I agree with. You know, everything you're saying about the Big Mama's 40, you know, that's a symptom of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
However, the real problem is that we've gotten away from the basics, meaning just because we make an exception because somebody has a baby outside wedlock doesn't establish a new foundation that says, okay, it's all right to have babies outside of wedlock. Mm-hmm. See? And so because we don't stick to teaching the foundational truths, now that we have a generation that has grown up not really believing in God, we replace the real relationship with an invisible God with a relationship with man.
All right.
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, it all started, of course, with the Catholic Church. You know, once you empower a pope, and then at one point you got two popes, and then you got two popes fighting over who's actually the pope, and then they're enforcing it. You know, they're enforcing it with a rule of join or die. So the Crusades, just like in Islam, you know, become a convert or die. That mentality becomes the teaching: convert or die, convert or die. But that was not what Yeshua taught.
Okay,
right, come on now.
All right.
When Yeshua was teaching, see, he went back to the basics, and he wasn't really getting on their nerves until he attacked Moses. See, the minute he started talking about divorce, and he said, Moses gave you divorce.
That's right.
But in the beginning, it was not so.
That's right.
See, he took the sacred cow. See, and so that's what we have to do. We have to start slaying all our sacred cows so that we can get rid of all of these religions.
Wow.
Okay.
All of these religions are based in sacred cows.
All right, we got you. Hey, thanks for calling in. That was awesome, man. We really thank you for that exhortation. Maury, Minister, what you got over there, man? Casey, what you got over that was some great commentary, short, brief, about these sacred, basically the traditions of men.
That's exactly what it is.
And that's kind of what Rick was talking about last night. You know, with the way religion is constructed now, it's not a problem that you have with God or Yah. It's the problem with men adding and doing all these things, these sacred traditions. And this ain't nothing. This not a
That's
new
what the
concept.
Pharisees was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a new concept.
Not a new concept.
So go ahead. What you got for that case?
It just takes me back to Mark 7:7. Christ was talking and said, "How be in vain do they worship me, teaching for commandments the doctrines of men, and the traditions of men." And I was thinking about something when Murray Sider was talking about having elders in the so-called church. There were elders in my community.
Oh, absolutely. Which bled over. Absolutely.
And I'm not saying, not necessarily saying they were church people.
No.
There were older men that ran with my mom's boyfriend, who was my stepdad, that we saw, that were in the community, in the little apartment area.
Absolutely.
That were not. Some of them were drunks.
Yeah.
Some of them we knew to be drunks.
Yeah.
But we still had a level of respect for them.
Right.
Some of them was drunks and went to church. But go ahead.
Some with exactly, and I think that's what happens is the church has had so much of the world really to creep into it.
Oh, absolutely.
People can't tell the difference. So their mindset is, especially with the millennials, why should I go if I'm going to get the same thing in there out here, except without the persecution,
Right.
the
Yes,
ridicule, the condemnation. See,
Yes,
we're not loving people. I'm not judging you for being in your sin, but then I have a responsibility as a minister and as a brother in Christ to let you know you can't continue to do what you do and live a life of sin. Instead of loving them with the love, we condemn them.
Right.
And that I tell people like this, and I'm gonna give it back. With a black person, and I'm not racial, but with a black person, when you talk to them, you have to talk to them where you're not putting a black person on the defensive. You have to give them and put them in a place where they have an option. Because once you put a black person, give them something and put them on the defensive, it's a wrap. They're going to respond defensively.
Right,
They're going to
right.
I already got the guard up.
Yes, sir.
So when we love people like that with sincereness, like the brother came on last night, he didn't see race. All he saw was spirit.
Yeah.
And then once you can see spirit, now we're on the common plane. Now I can accept your love because you're not looking down on me.
Right.
Even if you're a bishop or apostle or chief apostle, you're not looking down on me. You're looking at me.
Yeah.
And you're talking to me, not talking at me.
Right.
It makes a big difference.
Rick, what you got something there you want to kind of add to everything that what we're talking about right now?
I agree with everything he said. Pastor Casey just said, man.
Why, hold on. Why everybody trying to make me a pastor?
Pastor Casey.
Pastor Casey.
I mean, because and I can even go from the work world. When I was a supervisor, and when I used to have staff meetings, I used to make sure I sit down on their level and make sure that so it wouldn't look like I was talking down to them. I was talking to them. And I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with what he said, because a lot of time, excuse me, like I said, a lot of my background, my grandparents were Jehovah's Witnesses, and I can see sometimes, like in the Kingdom Hall, some days some of the elders would talk, or if they have a member that's disassociated, they don't even talk to them.
Wow.
Or they
That's
would
communication.
Yes, they would, or they would sometimes condemn some of the people that their family members for still having some of these communications with them because they
excommunicated them.
Yes, and it caused a problem. It caused a problem with me because here is a brother or a sister that has lost their way.
Right.
But it's clearly they're here, so they're trying to refine their way. So why are we, like you say, condemning them?
Yes.
And you see a lot of that in a lot of the churches, where it's a lot, especially a lot of the mega churches, where you can't even have a conversation with some of the hierarchy
absolutely.
in the church. And to me, that's a turnoff.
I got a question, Rick, real quick. And I'm glad you let us know your background. can you tell us what it looked like in the Kingdom Hall? Because they ain't got no windows. And I'm trying to see what's going on in there. The reason why ain't no windows. That's what I'm just trying to, I'm serious. I always wanted to know, like, they don't have what they doing up in there.
It's a teaching. It's a teaching.
They don't want nobody to see the teachers.
That's something I will have to ask them. I will actually ask somebody that question. But
say don't put you on the spot like that.
But to me, to me, going to a meeting at the Kingdom Hall, they from what I've seen is coming strictly from the Bible. They are teaching you from the Bible. Everything they say, it comes back to the Bible. They constantly in the Bible, and the conversation is pretty much biblical. The whole teaching of the service is through the Bible, and for that was one of the things that I applaud them for, because in a lot of churches that I had been to, they might touch the Bible every now and then. They might open it one time, give you a quick something out of it, and then they doing their thing. They
Rick, they had you out there walking, knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Why y'all got two? Why they had two Bibles though?
I only seen one.
And they got the Jehovah Witness Bible.
The New World Translation, yes.
Yeah, I mean, no, they got their own Bible. It said Jehovah Witness.
No, it said Jehovah Witness New World Translation.
Yeah,
yes,
but
that's what I say about one of the remixes, and it's taken from the King James version of the Bible.
I believe that once you continue to remove, cut that dope, it loses its potency.
That was my conversation last night about
when you keep
how
cutting.
the Bible has been remixed by everybody.
Exactly.
And that was that to me that is one of my examples. In fact, had I remembered last night, I would have brought in the Jehovah Witness Bible. I would have brought in the King James version of the Bible. I would have brought in the Tower. I would have brought in these so we could see these different things, because that was one of my biggest complaints about religion, is the remix of the Bible.
Can I get a gig? I want to, I do a little posing and stuff like that, little acting, man. You can get me a little gig. I can get inside the Watchtower magazine. I hold up a bowl of fruit.
They are very welcoming. You are more than welcome to go.
No. I'm talking about I want to get in the magazine, man. I'm trying to promote myself.
Talking about the Watchtower magazine. The Watchtower magazine. Man, you can't get... Hey, but now listen, man. Real talk though. I want to say this, because I think that I know we was talking about. I think Reed brought up a point like about even like with the mega churches and things like that. Not addressing things like is our biggest problem with religion, do you feel as though religion is too condemning? And when you say condemning, let me say this. There's a difference between addressing right and wrong and condemnation.
That's right.
Like, none of us can condemn anybody.
That's right.
We don't have that authority.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Only the Creator has that authority. But some would argue and say that it's that the church is being too critical, and many will say that the church ain't being critical enough.
I agree on both of those terms, because now if you're teaching that word and you believe in the word of the Bible, it's gonna step on some toes.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely supposed to step on some toes, because if you're going in conjunction to the word, and if you preaching and trying to make us live in accordance to the word, the things that's going on ain't right. So if you preaching on that, and you can't, there's no, to me, it's become one too accepting of, and too afraid to step on toes, and too afraid.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. I totally agree.
So if you can't give me the halfway word,
right, right,
you can't give me some of the word, and then You can't give me the word in the pulpit and doing something else.
Absolutely. Hypocrite.
And I know you doing something else.
Hypocrite.
I sat in the church one time, and one example, and I'm
Go
gonna let it
ahead.
I sat in the church one day, and this man was talking about womanizer. You can't be a womanizer of the lady, and I thought he was talking to me. And then,
He was.
he was
Through the spirit.
But guess what? I was sitting next to one of his baby mamas,
Yeah.
and he married.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
But she's a brand new baby mama.
6 months.
So you can't talk to me about being a womanizer. You womanizing.
Yes, sir. That's facts right there.
So those are some of my problems. You can't give me something that you ain't doing.
Right.
And I know y'all say that he's just a man and I'm not supposed to put him on the pedestal. But to me,
But that's no excuse.
But to me, everybody didn't get this calling from God. And
That's right.
You got a calling from God.
That's
So
right.
if you got a calling from God, you got something that I don't have. You are set above a little bit. A little bit.
So,
not much.
so there's a standard.
There's a standard.
And I agree
Hold
with
on,
you.
Derek.
Go
I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Listen, if you want to add to this conversation what we're having about is it too much damn religion? This is the recap from
In our community.
Our brother show in our community, because last night we was on his show. Last night our brother Rick, our engineer, call in at 404-355-8699. Call in, and we would love to definitely hear from you. Big shout out to our brother McNeil Jonathan from Springfield for calling in. Y'all definitely give us a call and chime in on this. Maury Silent, let me ask you this, man, because Rick made a great point. Now, this is coming from a brother
Yes.
that isn't involved in what we call, or what is called organized religion, meaning that a place of where, just
Where
a
people come
specific
together.
place to worship. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You don't have a problem with God. You don't have a problem with the concept of God, or as he just said, he feels though it's not critical enough.
Right.
So now, does this go back to, because if he's saying that, then he's identifying that there's a sin problem, and what we
absolutely.
call sin, or what the Bible calls sin, shall I say?
1 John. Good.
Right? So, do you think that is the issue, the reason why that America, within our community, now we're talking the urban community, because that was the topic of his show,
Yes.
is our urban community out of control because of the lack of addressing sin? Do you think that's, because growing up, it was certain things you just didn't do in the church because you was afraid. You was afraid of
God,
the Most High,
the
but
Most
you had
High,
a
yes.
respect for the leader
Yes.
of whatever church you was a part of. Not only the leader, but the elders in the church, to where you just didn't do certain things.
That's right.
It wasn't
Right.
cool. So let me go ahead and chime in on that.
Absolutely. Rick made a great point, but if you look at over time at some of the leaders in our community, they are the ones that are letting us down because they are going against the will of God, I should say. They're doing a lot of things, such as he said, being the womanizers, stealing money from church, doing all of these things that goes against what the church was supposed to be about. The church was supposed to be a place where people can come together and worship the Most High and trust not only the Most High, but the people that were within the church. They could trust them.
Yeah.
Now, from the outside looking in, if I see you on the news all the time, or somebody that's in that position that's supposed to be the leader or the shepherd over these sheep, and they're getting caught doing all the stuff that people outside in the outside world are doing, again, like Casey said, why should I come in there?
Now, can I give you this disclaimer?
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. There's one disclaimer, okay? I agree with what everybody's saying. There is a lot of whoremongering. There's a lot of idolatry. There's a lot of fornication. There's a lot of sin inside the body of church and
Yeah,
body of
true.
Christ.
Let me say before we get started. Let's stick with the community.
Okay.
Well,
Because that's the subject.
Okay.
We don't want to make it about the church.
Got
Right.
you.
Right, no, definitely not.
The point I was going to make is that you cannot use that as an excuse.
Right.
You cannot use that as justification in order to dispel that, because somebody may say, may be hearing us and say, that's why I don't go to church, because of that right there.
But isn't that what they're saying?
I understand that, but in the day of judgment, you can't use that as an excuse.
Okay,
So my disclaimer is that you cannot use that, even though you're using that. You cannot use that as an excuse because that's not going to be justification enough for you
Of
to
course,
make
you and I know that. But if I was raised up and I've never stepped my foot inside of that church, how am I supposed to know I can't use that as an excuse?
Because I just told you.
Because you just told me.
Okay. Through the spirit.
But I'm just saying, they're not going to listen to you. You know, as we all had someone, that was, when we were growing up, even when we were out doing our own thing, at some point, somebody would say, you know, you got to do right. You got to live right. You got to do these things. But we still, until we made up in our own mind to do the right thing, we continue to do what we wanted to do.
I understand that.
But that didn't make it not a sin problem either, though, did it?
Let me add this real quick before Rick jump in here. Let me add this real quick. Now let's go back to this though, because growing up, we didn't need nobody at the church to tell us right from wrong.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we learned that at home.
In the community. We learned that
Absolutely.
even in the community.
Absolutely.
So, and we didn't get to this last night, Rick, but I wanted to get to it because the first line of defense growing up was always the home.
Amen.
Yes,
You
sir.
knew that stealing was wrong
At home.
because you tested it at home.
Right.
Okay.
So when
What you mean you tested them cookies you were good? Mama told you to get 2 and you end up getting 5. Eat 2, put 2 in your mouth, and then walk out and say, I got.
you tested it at home, right? And then when you got to the church, it didn't need to be a Bible.
It was
because the
reinforced.
law and
Was
the
already
concept of it
established.
was already established
Absolutely.
in the
The
earth
Commandments were already given at home.
by your mama.
Yes, sir.
And you was chastised when she made a sacrifice on your behind.
You already know it.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So you already knew. So is that the root to the problem? Are we
Home.
putting more expectation on the church
I
than
can-
we are at home?
I can see that.
I think that's the thing. And I'm going to let Rick jump in. I'm going to let Casey go
Yeah.
after
Oh,
that. And then we'll
no,
swing it
go
back
ahead, go
around.
ahead, go ahead.
I know Rick wanted to say something.
I'll answer your question first. Yes, that is a problem. The problem is we're not doing the things at home in the community that was once done. We all know that growing up, we might get 4 butt whoopings before we get to the house.
Oh, yes, sir. Because everybody
If we
watching you.
did something down the street, Miss So-and-so might got you. Mr. So-and-so might have got you. Miss So-and-so might have got you before you got home and got by mama, grandmama, and granddaddy.
Yes,
And the
sir.
uncle might call and say, let me get something
Give me
too.
a little bit of
If
that.
it was bad enough.
Real talk.
Yeah, because I had an uncle tell me, you did what to my sister? Oh, okay. He came and got some of this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the community is the home. The kids are not being raised at home. The community is not help raising, and then also in the church is not because. Now back to the original, the point we was making about the church. Now, if I'm coming to church every day, every week, every Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and every Sunday to get out, but I keep seeing
Right.
the same things or the same people doing the same things that are not in accordance with. And at some point, I'm just asking. And at some point, I don't care what I'm trying to do, or trying to. As much as I'm trying to strengthen my relationship with God, if I keep seeing these relationships, ain't that going to start to tear away at and what I'm thinking and what I'm trying to do?
See.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
It plays a role. Go ahead, Casey.
I would say, to answer that question, I would say yes. You know, because we are not necessarily creatures of habit, but we have a tendency to not necessarily follow the crowd. But yeah, you get weary in your well-doing. You know what I'm saying? If you seeing your mom getting jumped on by dad, even though he's your blood dad, it's going to be a point of time when you're going to be like, look, nigga, you're going to stop putting your hand on my mama. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. But as an individual, you have to make sure that you're fortified. You know, even if you have to move. Even in my situation, there were things that were going on in a particular fellowship that me and my family were a part of. And we began to see things that didn't line up with the book. And we sat there 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 until I got till it resonated in my spirit. It's time to move. Now, I didn't move based on my own feelings or my own motion. I moved when the Spirit told me, okay, it's time for y'all to move. Because I just could not continue to agree with the things that I saw that I knew were contrary to the Word of God. That's what that individual have to make sure that you have a relationship. You, not based, I love my Murray. I love my brother Murray over there. But, bruh, I don't count on them for wisdom.
That's right.
I don't count on them for word. I don't count on them to strengthen my relationship, even though they do with their preaching and teaching. I have to make my own decision and say, I got to open my book. It's just like your faith should be like a toothbrush. Always have your own and use it often. You don't let nobody use your toothbrush. I don't even let my wife, well, she had once or twice, but I don't even let my wife use my toothbrush. You know what I'm saying? That's how your relationship has to be. You have to have your own, and you have to use it often.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but
if you button it, that means you don't agree.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, somewhat wholeheartedly. We are counting on these men to bring us something. Because if they have been called to do this, this is just my...
Okay,
this,
all right.
I'm with you. I'm not...
Rickology.
I'm not written this on. This is some Rickology. If these two men are called to stand in front of me and give me something, I have to...
Have an expectation.
Expectation that how they giving it to me is as pure and as authentic as it can be, because if not, why am I listening to? How can they even bring this to me?
That's why you have to know for yourself. Listen, if he taught today, Murray Brown taught today, when he called out scriptures, you think I just take what he say for granted? No, I flip my pages open. I open it to make sure he's lining up with the book, because we can make mistakes.
That's right.
And so if it's
That's the truth.
So if it's not lining, I think when you made you said a word, expectation. What did you, and this for the people that listen, what are you expecting? Are you expecting too much? Watch this. Last one. Watch this. I'm gonna let you have it. Watch this. Going back to after when Israel came out of Egypt, when Moses went on the mount, those Negroes was expecting so much from Moses that when Moses was gone for a few, they said, Moses is dead. We need us another God that we can see. And I think that same syndrome is on us now. We are expecting, whether for lack of a better word, whether they're here, they're too much from individuals that's supposed to be men of God and women of God.
You said the key word right there, supposed to be. Aren't I supposed to expect so much of them? Because they are supposed to be called.
But you can't depend on that.
I'm not depending on No.
Your expectation level.
I think my expectation should be higher them to help me to build this relationship.
You have to build your... That's what I'm saying.
I'm supposed to have my own relationship, but you have to have something. If you don't know the word, if I don't know, I have to have a conduit to it.
Right? That's the Holy Spirit.
No, he still needed. He's saying he need a teacher.
I understand that.
He's still saying he need a teacher.
Before you learn and get the Holy
That's
Spirit,
right. You need somebody
you
to
got to
guide
have
you.
somebody to guide you.
That's right.
So if I can't expect them,
Well,
there's something wrong.
I'm finna drop a bomb, and then I'm gonna flip this camera over here to Pastor Derek. I'm finna drop a bomb.
Just don't poop.
Not a poop bomb. The expectation should always be to the priest of my home. I should expect the priest of my home, which if I'm a child would be my father, to hear from him, to learn from him as an example, more so than my pastor when I go to the church.
But let me.
Even my wife should get watched over the word by me more so than she by these two, because I am the priest of the home. So my question is again, are we putting too much expectations on the people behind the pulpit and the
should
podium?
we not? That's the only.
Some, but not all.
Okay.
That's
Suppose you don't have a father in the home.
I was just about to go there.
Okay, see, I see it's always one in the group.
I was just about to go there.
If you don't have a father in the home,
Right.
Then it's supposed to be in. I would say move from my immediate home, then to my home, my cousins, My brother.
Okay,
I'm just saying. They're not.
Spread it out.
Then you go into community. But I'm just saying. We're talking about community. Then community. So the church should be part of
the community.
It should be on the outskirts of the community because that's the church is place where the community should go.
I understand.
If we lived in a cul-de-sac and there was just 5 houses in our cul-de-sac, I'm building my house to be respectful to me and to my neighbors. You're teaching your kids the same way. If we're doing all that the same way, then we don't have to worry about break-ins in our 5 houses in our community. Then us as a community, we take as a community 5 houses, then we go to the church.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? What's happening is because there's a lack of leadership in the home, people are looking for leadership outside the home. You can't find it in your community because these folks don't go to church. These folks don't believe. These folks here, you see what I'm saying? So you can't get it from them, so where you going to get it from?
Well, in the construction that we live in, it's going to be hard to just say, everybody just come to this one community and let us all believe the same thing you believe, and you're not going to be able to find that. And even within your own family, it's hard to find a community of believers.
That's why we're building that Boom Church Atlanta. Hear me good. That's why we're building that Boom Church Atlanta, Boom Church DMV, Boom Church Jacksonville, Boom Church Duval, Boom Church King. We're building communities. So if you are looking for a community of believers that stand on moral laws and principles, people that not only walk this thing, not only talk this thing, but we walk it out. We live a life of righteousness. Then come in fellowship and visit us and test and see if the Spirit. Try the Spirit by the Spirit at Boom Church. Okay. Yeah, I am commercially.
Okay, so let me say she dropped a commercial in the advertising. If you got anything you want to add to this, man, this is good conversation. Hit us up at 404-355-8699. Call into the show. We can have you on air. We can hear your contributions to the show as well. I think this is dope. Again, this is something.
Yes, sir.
We're doing a recap from last night on our brother Rick's show, talking random-ish. All right, barbershop style conversation. I think it was dope and it was awesome, man, last night. But here's the thing, man. The question is, because Rick asked the question.
Yes, he did.
Let me bring this back around. The question still has not
been answered.
Go ahead.
The question is it too much damn religion in our community?
I would say yes.
I'd have to ask this question. What is religion?
See, we gave a definition about that last night.
Well, give it to me again.
It was just basically, to sum it up, man's striving and journey trying to get to God.
No, that was the other pastor's definitions.
That was his definition.
Okay, what would you break it down in layman's term? What would you?
Basically, based on layman's term, a religious structural system within our society.
No, I would say there is too much religion and not enough relationship.
Okay, we talked about religion and relationship last night. So does your culture identify your relationship? Meaning this, because like I was saying last night, the Bible isn't structured as a religious concept.
No, it's not. It's culture.
It's a cultural thing. It was
over here in the United States it is.
Right.
As a religious
right. Well, now around the world, it has
but
become that kind of even around the world. But what I'm saying is that the Bible, the concept of the Bible was never supposed to be
absolutely
a structural thing where man put these limits and all these other additives to it.
Gotcha.
It was supposed to be a relationship between the creator and the created, right?
Absolutely.
And then that's the reason why we started having all these things that was passed down to Moses and passed down throughout all these prophets and these other teachers. Even when you get to the how to shout in the New Testament, it's still a continuation between a relationship because the relationship was disconnected between Adam, which is the father of mankind.
Right.
So now we're trying to bring mankind back into the relationship.
But you trying to bring mankind back into broken relationships.
Yeah, but through the religious lens.
But
that's the problem.
But that's what I'm saying.
But see, that's what the Hamashiach did, brought it back together.
But that wasn't broken relationships, though, because that was a part of culture. There were cultural things that were still intact when Hamashiach was walking. They kept Sabbath. They kept feast days. Now, whether they did this or that.
But the relationship between Israel and the Most High is what was broken.
I understand, but I'm saying in the sense that there were still cultural things that were going on, even during that time. He himself even went to the temple, even at Passover, at one feast, and went inside and opened up the scroll, right?
Absolutely.
So that was a cultural thing. That wasn't a religious thing. But what happens now, we have a lot of religious stuff to take the place of so-called Western culture. We have,
I can agree.
We have Christmas,
so we
Easter,
lost our culture,
and we haven't adopted on traditions, and we have
paganism, and
we're making that culture and sprinkle religion on top.
Well, we've lost our culture. Period. That's why it's so great that you come into the truth. You begin to realize what the culture that you've lost, which is the Bible. And you've lost all of these cultures, and we replace all of our culture with every other man's or every other place's culture. Which you were talking about Easter, Christmas, all of these things. We've replaced what the Most High intended for us to do with the feast days and all of these things, and replaced it with these paganism or pagan holidays.
So when they brought us over here, they took away our culture and gave us religion.
So man additives to God's system created the religion.
Corruption. Isn't that what they did?
It created religion.
I would say yes.
Isn't that what Aaron them did? Yeah. They took their own and added to God and created a religion?
Yeah.
That's what Aaron them did.
And that's also why the Most High was like, don't mingle with these certain people.
All right, we got a caller. Caller, what's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Denise Woodard Williams.
Hello, Denise Woodard Williams. Control structural spiritual system. I know this is about to be deep. She already put a post up there in the comment. Control. She said control structural spiritual systems. Go ahead, sister.
Well, what it is my mother, growing up, my mother tried different things, Jehovah's Witness, Catholicism, all those things, and then she got, quote-unquote, saved and filled with the Ruach. What it was is, as I grew up and everything, so many things happened, and I noticed that I knew that the Most High was giving me breadcrumbs that brought me where I am right now. But I was always trying to still get my kids to go to church with me and everything, even though I was doubting everything myself. And they were like, there's something about it that just didn't fix with them. And when I finally gave in and said, okay, I have to go ahead and tell them, and I went to them and I said, do not read the book from this Eurocentric perspective, because we were going to a mega church here in New Jersey at the time. And they said, what do you mean? I said, read it like you're reading the African history book, your history. And then when I went back to them, I said, okay, they got that, and I went back to them, I said, you know something? The Bible is not a book about religion. I always looked at religion after watching all the stuff that I saw. I always looked at religion as a system of control. Right. And I noticed it in the Pentecostal church. I noticed it in the mega church. I know it's all a system of controlling how you worship, what you believe. I mean, who you fellowship, the whole thing. So to me, it was a control system. A system of spirit, how people operate in spirit. But when I explained to my children a few years ago, I said, listen, I'm looking at the scriptures, and I know for a fact the scriptures are a book that was written to and about a specific group of people that the Most High made a relationship, a covenant relationship with. And only those people is he talking to. Those people, I believe, are us. My children just threw the door wide open. They said that makes sense, and ever since our family has been thriving, because they realized it wasn't, religion should have been flushed down the toilet a long time ago. It's about relationship, covenant relationship, and the whole structure of the church, the foundation of quote-unquote church, was built on flaws. It was built on really lies. And people are trying to hold on to a concept that was created by man instead of getting into worship, fellowship, relationship, covenant, all those things that are in the scriptures. You know what I mean? So I think that's where we should be.
Okay.
That was just what I want.
Thank you, sis, for calling in. That was awesome, and we appreciate
And
it.
Moray Williams,
Uh-huh.
find out how we're related now. You know that, right?
Say what now?
You said we're related somewhere on Ancestry. I got to find out how that is, okay?
Okay.
Got to talk.
All right. All right, sis. All right, shalom to you. We got another caller calling in. What's up, caller? Who is this and where you calling from?
Hi.
That's Brother Charles.
Brother Charles.
I know that voice.
Listen, Brother Charles. Listen,
How
you doing today, brother? Listen, we got 5 minutes, brother. We got 5 minutes, Brother Charles, and we need to make. We need 1 minute, Brother Charles. We're gonna give you 1 minute. All right.
All right.
All right.
First of all, there should be no religion in the church. There should only be a relationship between Jesus to get to God.
Okay.
Because if it's anything other than that, to skip over to Jesus to get to God, you see, that's not Christianity. You see?
Okay.
That's what y'all call that. What you say, too much damn. Because that's what all religion is trying to do, get to God without going through Jesus.
All
If
right.
you go through Jesus, then that is that connection that gets you in the right connection to get to God, not skip over Jesus. So first of all, you need to take all that religion out of the church and put a direct, positive connection to God through Jesus. You see?
All right.
Now, when it come down to the kids in school, like you talking about the old time you had the elders, we used to get whippings. You cannot whip your kid today without going to jail.
Well, you can't.
All right. Now, if that kid call the police department, they will lock you up.
Hey, Brother Charles, thank you for calling, man. We appreciate you calling.
Yes,
man. We
sir.
gotta get
Yes,
off.
sir.
We got 2 minutes, and we got to drop some things in here. So thank you for calling. Big shout out to everybody that's tuned in, man. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, we got the Hebrew Ball.
Yo.
Yeah, Hebrew
Heritage
Ball.
Ball is coming up in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
On the 17th. If you don't have your ticket, man, you need to go on Eventbrite or email us at BOOMCHURCH, I as in Indiana, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom at gmail.com, and we can send you a link to get your tickets. It's here in Atlanta. It's going to be super duper fly. Hebrew Ball.
And you don't have to
all
be
of that.
Hebrew to come.
Yeah, you don't have to be Hebrew to come. Married or single, no kids allowed. All right. So y'all got anything for y'all want to get out here? Shout out to my wife Emma Brown, man, baby, I love you, and look forward to seeing you here in a minute. Y'all got anything, brothers?
Yeah, you already know. Shout out to my Queen Couture, baby. You know, I see you at the dress shop, baby, because we going to be
Anyway, shout out to my wife, Lady Janessa Sala, wherever you at right now. Yeah, y'all go get them tickets to the Hebrew Ball. You don't want to miss this. This is a historical event.
Amen.
And I'm going to be so clean up in there. I'm
going to be casket clean.
Go ahead, brother Rick. Rick,
you coming to the ball, man? Come on, Rick. Come on now. Step out with us, man.
I think I'm gonna put it on my Rolodex of things to do.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That'll be all right. That'll be all right.
I'm talking about.
My show is Talking Random Ish, Friday nights, 1100 a.m. Friday nights from 8:30 to 10, Talking Random Ish, barbershop style conversation, no conversation taboo. Please.
That's on Facebook?
Yes, sir. Facebook Live. My Facebook page is Talking Random Ish. Go there and like us, and we come in there. And I want to thank once again Brother William for just coming and blessing us last night. Thank you.
One last thing for me, man, before I turn over to get more Red Brown. Hey, man, y'all run over there to your boy YouTube channel, man. Check out Reverend Dr. Bishop Apostle Casey Connoisseur Hewitt, and go ahead on and join the link up, man, at the First Baptist Church of Life. It don't cost nothing to be a member at my church. You ain't got to do nothing but click the little subscribe button. I got some funny stuff going down, y'all.
There, we got 30 seconds.
Yes,
Go
sir. Go ahead and come get that Kingdom Anointed
Let
custom
me get
neckwear.
a close up on that for the.
Hey, this is a new thing that I just did last night. Go and check it out. I'm always coming out with that new jewelry. Hey, come on, get you something for the ball. Come on, get you a little something for the ball. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you covered.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Grace, peace, and minute blessed. We're going to get out of here. Boom Radio, man. Another great show. Holla at you. Shalom.
Shalom.
Yo, what's going on, world? What's going on, world? This your boy Major right here. Boom Radio ATL right here on Love 8.